Hey guys, it's Mathel here once again, and I've got the follow-up video for God Jewel, full Ellie conversion, chaos, eternity shroud, spectral shield throw, chaining, deadeye build, and it's in the end game, or has finished all of the end game, and holy moly was it pretty goddamn good. This build right here is going to be basically just proof that you can make anything that kind of lacks currently in the game completely fixed by throwing enough gear, currency, and well, mechanics at it. And in this case, it is mostly just the God Jewel, which in my case gives me 560% increased damage through the use of like 20-30 passives or so, which is usually quite a bit more than an entire passive tree would give you damage wise, and then also converting from lightning to cold to fire using Eternity Shroud, all shaped items, and then getting a lot of extra chaos damage that way. Now what we've actually fixed in this build is single target for Spectral Shield Throw. Currently I'd say Spectral Shield Throw with the new jewel that gives the threshold support of 4 additional chains, and then comboing it with Deadeye is actually a really nice clear skill. If you build it into just a traditional Deadeye with the chain, go full physical into cold conversion, you'll actually have a very good time mapping all the way up into tier 16s, but you may end up experiencing a bit of single target damage lag and just some, well, not the biggest, juiciest end game potential, because the single target just won't be that good, and it's just a basic throw one shield, get one piece of damage sort of action that traditionally is not very good in this game for single target in general. The scaling's not really insane, but you can fix that by getting insane gear or going something completely stupid like this, which, like I said, don't really recommend you copying. It's not going to be easy, and it's not particularly worth the money, but it ends up being something you can actually fix with the right investment and mechanics. I do recommend checking out Spectral Shield Throw as just pure cold. It's fairly cheap, I'd say, ultimately, and it is fairly worth it because for a mapping skill, this thing is buttery smooth and feels very nice to just cruise along through a lot of maps. You do have some pretty good defense as well, a fair amount of evasion, fair amount of armor, and you get fortify, you can get some decent leech going, and if you are going to be a version that doesn't use a stupid jewel like mine, you have another 500 to 800 extra life, so you can probably push it all the way into 7k life. Ends up being a pretty strong mapping character. It's going to be tough to beat the single target content, I'd say, without fully min-maxing. Even the cold based Deadeyes for Spectral Shield Throw can get some fairly respectable single target damage, but it takes some pretty extreme examples of gear to get that going, so either way you're going to be investing fairly heavily. It did end up doing it with a 5-way fairly efficiently as well, probably about as good as any of my characters have done the 5-way. Maybe the Smite or the Shock Nova had better single target, hard to tell really, but I think this was in the end my fastest Uber Elder kill, because I'd like double phase both of them, and that's all you can really do for the fastest ever kill, and make sure they don't cast any extra mechanics. And it should have been a run that clocks in at like under 2 minutes or something, and I think it was probably my fastest ever, some of the smoothest ever Uber Elder, and it really does factor into if you can chain off of things, bounce a couple times. A lot of the time you can't, some of the time you can. If you can, then it becomes more than just a single hit, single target skill, because you get some chains happening, and it means that you're getting much more value out of your one throw than what you normally get. As far as the actual single target is concerned, just straight up hitting once and feeling kind of weak, well, it was good enough with this sort of investment. I could pull something like 3 million Shaper DPS, as you can see here. Wasn't too bad. For Chimera though, I think this is probably the best I've ever handled Chimera ads, because it's just fucking made for it. You stand in the middle, you throw shields, you one-tap everything, and if you don't, the chains should bounce off of the several ads and actually get all of the ads exploded either way. It just could not have been easier, and then you are fairly defensive for the Chimera smoke phases as well, so ultimately you shouldn't really be dying even to the tougher map mods of a Chimera. I think that's just about all I can say about this character though. There's not really too much more to go in since last video. You can check out the updated path of building and everything, because you can see all my gear, everything it took to get the character rolling. And all I could really say is just a general thing. I do think Fork fits in quite nicely for the clear speed of Spectral Shield Throw, and then for single target I was just chucking in Vicious Proj. So that's enough for me. Here's the Shaper Kill and then the 5-way Legion. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully the next build is a bit more affordable. I mean, it's pretty chunky damage, yeah. Perfectly timed on that one. Ah! Yeah, those chains were fucking very nice. Just they don't do that sort of standing next to each other all that often. I think that's about as fast as I could have ever killed him. Just about double phased every single time. Instantly. Fucked up one time when I didn't move when I should have and almost died. And rewarded! Fuck everything, go! Precision Anger. It's not useless. That combo exists. Phasing Haste? I doubt that exists. Attack damage and crit multi. I think crit multi for Anger is just not popular right now though, but both of them together should become a something. Like if you do crit multi for Anger by itself, it's not very popular, I don't think. Fucking 15, so just so few people are running Anger for that. Combine the two though, and you can justify that shit. 10x. It becomes a very powerful jewel that way. I mean, 50 multi, 60 damage. Fucking hot. And then phasing with haste. That's a one of a kind. Maybe 10x. Maybe 10x. Alright. I mean, I don't know. I think I like the idea of Fork, but this is probably fine too. What the fuck just happened? Got hit by some sort of desync lag wall. Yeah, we don't need Fork. I need to do the wind up, so I have to drop a Wither Totem and I have to hit him with a Stormbrand, which does waste time, but it is worth it. Pretty good. And ultimately, if there's any ads left alive nearby, the chains make it way better, but there never is. I gonna die there if I stood still? I have no idea. I think I could get like the bosses to stand next to each other randomly. And just bounce between two of them. Oh, that'd be hot. Like, I think there was some good chains between the procs bubble dudes there that kind of worked in my favor. Yeah, getting some chains happening really helps. Oh, goddamn, that one's scuffed as though. That procs bubble wasn't letting me get it. Yeah, I guess you guys can't see because of the webcam, right? I'm about to fill up the second row. And the difference is because I don't really one-shot bosses. If you want to be max efficient, you wouldn't stand still and kill them like that. You just keep running around and doing pure loot lines. It's fun fighting bosses, so fuck it. That was a mistake. I was trying to move my camp. Just checking my POB DPS, you know? Mid-fight. Making sure everything's in order. Come on. Could maybe do this one more. 3, 2, 1, go. Probably got nothing by the looks of it. A brutal restraint. That might be something. Overall, that's a pretty good run. Pretty clean. Spectral shield throw, boys.